Hi everyone, my name is Savyon and I'm the Enterprise and Cell Backhaul Vertical Product Management Lead at iDirect. Today we will talk about contemporary and emerging applications in the enterprise and government market segments, and we'll review the products and solutions that iDirect provides to enable the success of our partners in these segments. Chris Boyd will examine in more detail several use cases that can be enabled by our solutions for these segments. iDirect has been a market leader in the mobility, maritime, and aero verticals, as shown here, with 60% and 62% market share, respectively. I highly recommend that you refer to the mobility webinar that we have conducted last week and is available online. Today, we will focus on the other two segments. Government, of which iDirect currently has 41% market share and involves international agencies and civilian government agencies at all levels for various applications such as disaster recovery, first responders, and border control. iDirect has been a leader in the enterprise market for many years and still leading the pack with a flexible platform that offers superior TCO with high efficiencies, high performance terminals, and advanced traffic engineering that can cater to multiple applications, tiers, and service levels in a shared network together with carrier class availability. One of the largest sectors of the satellite IP industry is the enterprise market. Across the globe, companies today require connectivity that can span different regions and geographies to support operations, logistics, remote offices, and a multitude of corporate applications going all the way from email, directory services to ERP. VSAT is increasingly integrated into corporate networks to create a global virtual private networks and to support interactive distance learning, video conferencing, training, video distribution, digital signage, and business continuity. Businesses across every sector are now turning to satellite connectivity to support their global operations. Telcos and governments extend the reach of their terrestrial networks to rural areas and increasingly use satellite for high availability. Many USO projects for education and other purposes use satellite connectivity in remote communities that require to be easily integrated with terrestrial MNO networks. Satellite is driving the expansion of financial services in developing nations, powering ATMs and enabling end-to-end branch connectivity, and also provides backup connectivity for point of sale at retail locations and supports large-scale retail outlets with a completely independent backup link in case of loss of terrestrial connectivity. The energy industry relies on satellite to connect remote devices and equipment and support large data networks that enhance productivity and automate operations. And finally, utility companies are investing in VSAT to extend broadband connectivity across entire service areas as they build next-generation smart grid systems. Here are some of the contemporary applications where satellite is increasingly being used in different segments. In utilities, energy and mining, it is used for SCADA, logistics and manufacturing, pipeline and other critical infrastructure monitoring, and also for industrial IoT. In retail, satellite is used for point-of-sale, lottery, digital signage, training, video and music distribution to stores, and so forth. For SOHO and emerging enterprise, it is used for broadband access, video distribution, VPN services, and increasingly also for OTT services. And in finance, for secure ATM banking, branch connectivity as either backup or primary path. In the government sectors, there are multiple uses for satellite, leveraging the unique advantages of global reach, quick deploy and mobility, either complementing terrestrial networks or replacing them altogether where there's no terrestrial availability. Several examples where satellite is used are diplomatic communications with embassies, security agencies, border control, and emergency response. First responders leverage mobile connectivity in support of emergency operations from the time they get the call until they arrive to the disaster area, where they use the satellite to provide connectivity to the team on the ground and coordinate with other state and emergency agencies. IoT, the Internet of Things, is one of the most frequently used terms these days in many contexts. In the context of connectivity, IoT is a whole universe of emerging applications and use cases that are of enormous interest for multiple enterprise segments. As you can see here, many of these segments, such as oil and gas, utilities, and energy, are already using satellite today. Knowing the satellite advantages, many are interested in using it for new IoT opportunities. In general, many of the IoT use cases mirror some that have been mentioned before, such as polling and monitoring. One major difference is that the communications is extended to hundreds of thousands and in the future even millions of endpoints, typically using very little bandwidth. Other areas of interest for satellite is industrial IoT for high-value asset management, predictive maintenance, operations, optimization, and backhauling multiple IoT devices for low-power wide area networks. Another dominant trend is over-the-top or OTT services. Most people think of OTT as video content distribution such as YouTube and Netflix, but it can take many forms of distributing to the edge of the network any type of content, such as public service, broadcast announcements, software updates, and any type of image distribution and file distribution, and so on and so forth. In emerging markets, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google are driving over-the-top services to extend cloud compute access and racing to capture end-user eyeballs to drive advertising revenues. The underlying connectivity element of delivering from one to many puts again satellite as prime candidate to extend OTT in emerging and developing markets. One example where iDirect technology leadership is in content delivery for over-the-top services was in participation in ESA-funded project called Osmosis, optimization of streaming media over satellite infrastructures. There we successfully demonstrated innovative integration architecture with 4G and 5G networks, driving content delivery to the edge of the network. OTT also raises the interest of governments in the potential of providing new ways of information dissemination to citizens and public agencies, such as town hall meeting broadcasts, public interest announcements, polling, mapping, and other regional and national interest information. Now let's talk about the iDirect platform and how it is ideally suited to enable enterprise. The iDirect system is inherently designed to provide a solution for any type of application, together with the ability to mix multiple types of networks and tenants sharing common infrastructure. It is scalable with low total cost of ownership and risk, universal hardware portfolio, and supports multiple business models. It uses either DVB-S2 or DVB-S2X for best efficiencies, together with the fastest adaptive TDMA available today in the market. The advanced quality of services allows for sophisticated SLA, flexible tiered service offering while maintaining unparalleled user experience. Other advanced features including IP routing, TCP acceleration, and layer 2 over satellite all mirror quality and reliability of terrestrial services. And finally, iDirect commands the mobility markets with advanced features to enable reliable maritime, land, and aero services with beam switching, and in the near future, provider roaming. Our partners use iDirect to provide, for example, connectivity services to banks with multiple branches and ATM locations, together with other retail services, all under single network infrastructure. The iDirect Hub offers the best-in-class scalability with the minimum investment risk, offering unified scalable hardware. The Universal Receiver line card supports the fastest adaptive TDMA data rates and now available with 16 QAM. The Universal Transmit line card supports either DVB-S2 or DVB-S2X, enabling migration path or deployments for maximum efficiency on any given capacity. The Universal Intelligent Gateway is based on unified compute architecture to virtualize protocol processors for either evolution or velocity networks with fast processing, up to 500 megabits per second per sled. The benefits are unified packet processing on a single low-footprint appliance with common components for investment protection, ready for future virtualized applications such as NFV and SDN, together with carrier class high availability. iDirect offers a variety of modems for every imaginable enterprise use case. The X family is strongly positioned in current enterprise markets. The X1 series is a high-performance DVB-S2-based modems with both indoor and outdoor variants for a variety of fixed enterprise use cases. The X7 addresses multiple mobility and enterprise markets and can be used for mesh networks as well. The X7 EC is for high-performance cell backhaul networks utilizing the SATFOL XE application to optimize cell backhaul traffic. The IQ series, based on scalable software-defined architecture, is the next generation family, offers unprecedented performance for either S2 or S2X networks, and it includes the IQ Desktop, IQ200, and the IQ LTE. I will describe the IQ series in details in the next slide. The IQ Desktop is high-performance remote for small enterprise and broadband access, offered in two flavors, either a vertical desktop or with the new IQ Desktop Plus in a form factor of small set-top box with extended temperature range and ability to support higher power box up to 5 watt for C-band and up to 6 watt for Ku-band, supporting either layer 2 or layer 2 of a satellite, or can even do that in a hybrid mode where for mixed-use networks or for migration scenarios. The high-performance IQ200 is designed for enterprise, cellular backhaul, and mobility applications and comes in a rack mount form factor as well as boards that can be integrated into a complete maritime terminal, for example, fully supporting Open AMIP for antenna control. As you can see, it supports high adaptive TDMA return rates of up to 15 megasymbols per second and also 16 QAM. All the IQ series, by the way, support 16 QAM modulation for highest efficiencies. The IQ LTE is a new solution from iDirect that offers the benefits of both advanced satellite connectivity together with wireless and cellular connectivity in a single box, opening opportunities for a new variety of use cases. The IQ LTE combines both the IQ200 and the IBR series software-defined radio LTE routers from Cradlepoint, a global world leader in the wireless modem market. By combining dual path access in one box, the IQ LTE frees our partners from the choice of having either wireless access or satellite access, enabling them to have both in a single package for redundant communications, together with automatic switchover between LTE and VSAT links based on a wide range of predefined criteria. The IQ LTE brings the benefits of leveraging the same form factor, supply chain, and usability with the IQ200, coupled with wide support of global LTE bands with zero-touch deployment using the NetCloud-based provisioning tool from Cradlepoint. The IQ LTE will be offered in 3 flavors, all share the same chassis and the IQ200 modem, but differ in the Cradlepoint IBR router based on the use case. The IQ LTE is ideal for financial service markets where Wi-Fi is restricted due to local regulations or security requirements. It will include the Cradlepoint IBR 650C for Cat4 LTE device and regional LTE module solution based on existing certification of 600 series units. The IQ LTE Plus is a mid-market solution for enterprise, government, oil and gas, and also mobility markets such as maritime and land. It will include the Cradlepoint IBR 900 600M with Cat11 for worldwide LTE radio, dual SIM, and also Wi-Fi on board and external GPS input for location. And finally, the IQ LTE Pro is a top-tier solution for first responders or high throughput requirements. It is using the Gigabit LTE Advanced Pro. It will include Cradlepoint IBR 900 1200M for the first network disaster recovery operated by AT&T with band 14 support, together with a dual SIM, onboard Wi-Fi, and external GPS input. The IQ LTE Plus will be the first to release to the market in late summer, followed by the IQ LTE and the IQ LTE Pro. With that, I will pass the presentation to Chris Boyd, who will review several enterprise and government use cases in details using these iDirect solutions presented here.
Thanks, Savyon. All right. So what I'd like to do is take some of the information that Savyon's presented in terms of the product families and put those to real-life applications by going through some visual use cases to describe how we would deploy some of the solutions that you've heard about. The first example, as Savyon pointed out, is banking. Many of our customers use satellite today for their remote connectivity for branches and for ATM machines. What we have here is a depiction, a graphical use case of an ATM machine using the IQ LTE solution that Savyon just outlined. In this case, customers wish to have connectivity for the ATM machines, which might leverage both LTE in emerging markets where LTE coverage is available, but also have backup capability to fail over to VSAT in those markets where the terrestrial infrastructure may be compromised or just emerging. So for many of these customers, they would like to have a backup because in many of these locations, access to cache is a critical application. And so this provides them a resilient and redundant connectivity path. As Savyon pointed out, the Cradlepoint solution embedded in the IQ LTE offers programmability in terms of link failover or link affinity. So if the customer prefers to have their traffic primarily on LTE with failover to VSAT upon the loss of the LTE circuit, that is certainly something that can be accommodated. One of the additional use cases is using some of the benefits of satellite itself to augment the capability. So in this example, what we're showing is that the primary connectivity for the ATM is over LTE, but in times when the VSAT link is not being utilized for redundancy, we can actually use the forward link of the satellite to provide software patch updates to the ATM machines. In this case, starting on the left, when the operating system provider provides patches or updates for the ATM system, those are pushed into the enterprise to an enterprise update server. Using the power of the iDirect platform and our persistent layer 3 multicast capability, that update server is able to transmit the patch updates over multicast to all of the ATMs at the same time. This could be thousands of machines getting updates at the same time, offering a very smooth and fast capability to keep the operation secure. Our second use case can be provided by any of our IQ series modems that Savyon outlined earlier. This one is specifically related to coupling both content and multicast together, where we use this in an application, for example, in retail or storefront applications, perhaps even government applications, where we need to distribute information to large locations and also large numbers of people at the same time. So if you think about emergency operations centers, or you think about local fire departments, police departments, or other security access, being able to distribute video distribution, so this would be training information, mapping, video surveillance footage that's on replay, live footage that's being distributed. That information can be sent out to all of these sites at the same time using, again, the satellite layer 3 persistent multicast functionality of the iDirect platform. Those can be distributed to a local content cache and then played out at the local destination automatically to digital signage using applications from a number of third-party vendors, as well as pulled from on demand from users who need access to information in the cache. Our third example is for mobile first responders. As Savyon pointed out earlier, many of our solutions can be used by first responders for mobile application networks. In this example, we're showing a number of capabilities for a first responder. In this case, we have a mobile command vehicle. And we're showing that as it's equipped with the IQ LTE, allows us to have a VSAT connectivity for on-the-pause communications. In this case, we're showing an on-the-pause self-acquiring VSAT terminal on the roof of the vehicle. Also utilizing the LTE capability, option one is as the vehicle deploys on the move, we can use LTE to communicate while en route to the incident site, maintaining our connectivity with dispatch and other agency data sources, as well as the internet for information about the situation that they're encountering. As they arrive on site, and for example, in a hurricane region, the LTE is compromised either due to the towers being affected or lack of fuel in the generators running the sites, the first responders can connect their vehicle to VSAT using the self-acquiring antenna and then use that as a backup path in lieu of the commercial LTE services. If we're talking about the IQ LTE Pro, which Savyon had mentioned earlier, this option is really for the FirstNet currently, which is a United States network for first responders. This is on Band 14 dedicated first responder network. Many other countries are evaluating building first responder networks, and as such, we would be able to expand that capability as certification for that unit is available. In this case, we're showing that there are two options for the first responder vehicle. The first option would be if there's a viable FirstNet connection in the area, they can connect to that via a terrestrial tower connection. Or in many cases in disaster, large-scale disaster responses, we would see something like a FirstNet cell on wheels deployed. And in that case, the mobile command vehicle could leverage its LTE onboard connectivity to the FirstNet cow, which would potentially be connected over a separate satellite link to the FirstNet network. This offers first responders the ultimate flexibility to decide what path is optimal for them based on their situation on the ground. Another very popular enterprise and government use case that we've been hearing from our customers is the deployment of private LTE. And not to confuse the LTE that we've talked about in the IQ LTE solution, this is really about deploying private LTE assets within a government application, mining application, at sea on oil platforms or on vessels for container tracking. The idea being that the technologies that have enabled the massive communication scale of the LTE 4G networks that we are all aware of today, those same technologies can be deployed on a small scale in what's called an edge EPC or a small cell EPC. Those EPCs or evolved packet cores can be deployed at the location or on, for example, an oil rig, or for example, at a remote mining application or government installation. And that provides connectivity to private bands of LTE. So these are either licensed spectrum that an enterprise or a government has licensed from their regulatory bodies, or emerging now are more popular options for unlicensed spectrum. So there are many third-party radio providers providing capability to integrate those private LTE bands to local enterprises. In this case, what we're showing is a mining application where we're showing sensor aggregation from the various mining equipment machines which have sensors on board capable of transmitting LTE or Wi-Fi. In this case, we're showing them connected via the LTE private LTE network and uploading that sensor aggregation information to operational teams. The other benefit of a private LTE network with an edge EPC solution is that I provide local calling within the local infrastructure between handsets so that we can coordinate between different operational teams. Further, coupling the private LTE backhaul with our cellular backhaul solution that Savyon mentioned earlier, we're able to integrate the edge EPC back into the enterprise and provide optimization of the LTE traffic back into the core network. This offers advanced compression and other optimizations for deployment of LTE over the satellite link. Coupling the LTE capabilities with our standard enterprise capabilities, we also offer a combination of all the things that I've talked about so far. So for example, distribution of video using the multicast overlay or persistent multicast capability, connectivity for remote employees for enterprise applications, and finally for crew welfare, where the crew, when they're not working, have access to the normal things that they would access off-duty: social media, video capability, connectivity with their families. So in summary, iDirect's enterprise mandate is to create and deliver new solutions for emerging markets, to enable collaboration across a broader ecosystem of solutions, and open up new opportunities in high-value markets with our diverse portfolio that you've seen today. We aim to deliver the highest performance and quality of service for the enterprise connectivity and offer a first of a series of capabilities for multi-access, which IQ-LTE describes multi-access. We're able to connect both VSAT and LTE, but we're going to continue to advance our science there and provide capability for multi-orbit in the future, where we would have connectivity for GEO satellites and MEO satellites as an example, or GEO and LEO satellites as an example. That's a key tenet of work we're doing today.